Hey guys, welcome back to Burnout's Hot Rod Shop. On this episode, I visited the Blue Ridge Flea Market, the 5-acre Flea Market, and the flea market where I have a booth in Wind Gap. So check out the things that I found, and hopefully you find something you like, because I found a lot of things I like. All right, guys. So here we're going to start off with what I got up here at 5-acre. The rest of this came from Blue Ridge. If you saw the latest video where I went and I got a bunch of stuff out of dollar bins, this is the next day. And one of my dollar bin guys said he was bringing in more tools today. So I went 2 days in a row to Blue Ridge. That's why we're getting 2 Blue Ridge back to back. But we'll start up here. So we've got these 3 wrenches here and this one, so fourth. These came from 5-acre, and it was a guy who had 4 for $1. So I got $1 worth. It's a 1/2 inch 9/16 offset double box. And it's a forged select steel, which, as many of you know, is one of the Industro trademarked brand names. So that is a Duro Industro wrench. Next up, we've got this 11/16 Industro, Chicago, USA, by 19/32, drop forged, again, select steel. Here we've got the just made in USA, same sizes, forged select steel. So this is their more generic one, the select steel. The previous one was the Industro, but those are the same wrench. And finally, we've got this 19/32 by 1/2, made in USA, forged select steel. So, Industro again. So that's all I got at 5-acre. I did get one other piece for the booth. I didn't bring it home. It's a set of new old stock quarter drive sockets with the high vis side marking, laser etching from Craftsman. So those are at my booth. They're marked for $15 if you want to stop in and get those. I also have a set of 3/8 that are not the high visibility side etched, sitting right next to them. So I can get you, 2/3 of the way there. Brand new, still in the little plastic tray. All you gotta do is come out to my booth and pick them up. So the rest of the stuff, I'll group it kind of by the people I got it from. So this is one of my regular guys. I stop in, I usually go through his dollar bins. Today he had this magnetic insert in his dollar bin. Sears Craftsman. So these are magnets you put inside your socket for holding the fastener inside. You kind of see with that graphic. This thing was super crusty. I just wiped it down with my tub of towels. Quick wipe, and you can see how clean that is. But I got that from him for $1. Then I went to another booth, and they had these 2 pieces, and it was $2 for these. So this first one, not sure if we'll be able to see it. It's pretty crusty in there, but it is a proto quarter drive. You might have to take my word for it until I get that cleaned up. It is locked up, so it will have to come apart. The switch won't. It starts to move, but not very far. I'm not going to force it. I'll just pop those screws out, clean everything up real quick, get that one back in service. And then the other piece I got from that vendor was this 13/16 combination wrench. Cool part about this one, it's the Proto with the Plum Type O, because it's Proto, manufactured USA, Plum Tool Company. So another one of these Proto by Plum type wrenches. So that was an awesome $2. These next 4 pieces over here I got from my dollar bin guy that I go to every week, and I always buy something from him. This one is a Williams. Looks like 838 maybe, or 83B. And it's a nice S-wrench. Unfortunately, someone has grounded this side a little bit. You can see the markings there. You can really see them there. But I'll take it. I don't see a lot of Williams S-wrenches. Mostly engineer wrenches or double opens. The S's I don't see very often, so I was happy to pick that up for $1. Picked up this Craftsman 3/4 chisel. And it was rusty and crusty. Everything here's been hit with the wire wheel. But for $1, definitely nice to pick up. This one was real crusty. You could not see in the window. I actually had to dump everything out of it to make sure it was all there. But it's a quarter drive, hex drive 10-piece set. Here we've got the retail store name. Interesting that there's nothing in here. But when we flip this guy over, it is a Sears and Roebuck. All the sockets are there. The nut driver is there. And the Allen wrench is there. And that was in his dollar bin. All it did was wipe down the vinyl pouch, put it all back together. And finally, from his dollar bin, I grabbed this. I'm a sucker for socket sets. These are Keystones. When we open this up, these are hex drive. We've got the hex to square there at the end. And we've got 4 of the larger ones and 3 of the smaller ones. There may be one missing. It felt like I could fit another socket or, yeah, probably one more socket in there. But for $1, I'm not going to complain. So we've been through all those. Now finally were these 3 pieces. And this was a vendor. I picked these up for $5 for the grouping. And first thing we have is this 3/4 by 5/8 Proto Professional obstruction wrench. This one just had a couple little rust spots, so I knocked them off with the wire wheel. These 2 were crusty. Now first up, forged in USA, and it's an Industro. So this is that Thorson style open head. Turns nicely. Didn't see any missing teeth or broken teeth. Kind of gummy teeth that'll have to be cleaned out with the rotary tool. So I kind of looked at it as $1, $2, and $2. This one was so crusty you could barely read that it even said Super Ratchet. And it's drop forged, Diamond W, J.H. Williams Company, patented. This one turns nicely. And the switch is not broken. Usually that little ear gets broken off on these. I think it's kind of gummed up a little bit just because it feels like it's skipping just a hair. But for $2, I won't complain. I've got a bunch of these, so this may be one who knows? Try to hyper clean it, see if I can make it shine, paint the inside, something. I won't know until I get there. So that's what I picked up at the flea markets. Let me pull this stuff out of here, and I will show you what I picked up at my home flea market. Sorry, at my home marketplace. We are trying to get away from that idea that it's a flea market because we have better items than you usually find at a flea market, cleaner, that kind of thing. I'll be right back. All right, so this is part of what I picked up from one of the other vendors. She also sold me a couple nut and bolt bins and a couple, like a 2-drawer file card size metal cabinet. So lots of really good stuff. These were the sockets. I pulled out the Taiwanese and Japanese sockets. There was probably 10 of those in there. So we'll go ahead and start over here. These are Huskies. So we got all Husky USA. Those are deep wells, 1/2 inch and 3/8. We've got shallow, basically a set from shallow 1/2 inch. So we got 1 inch. And we go all the way down to 7/16. Oh, I guess this one actually goes here. Sorry about that. And then we've got, in the 3/8, we've got 13/16 and 11/16, so there's no 3/4. And we run all the way down to 3/8. A couple duplicates in the 7/16 and 1/2 inch, because we've got 12 and 6 points. And then we've got a couple 3/4 drive in there. We picked up these pliers in that box. They're Fuller number 112s. We got this SK flare nut wrench, 1/2 inch, 9/16. These are Craftsman deep well, 3/8 in the back, shallow 1/2 inch, shallow 3/8 and a couple quarters. Up here we've got SK. So these are both 3/8. One's a shallow, one's a deep. And then in quarter, we've got 2 of these 8 points. And then a full set of 3/8 down to 3/16 with an extra, a little bit newer 3/16. Then these 2 are quarter drive metric. So we got a 9mm, and I think a 7. Yeah, 7mm. Then over here in Craftsman, these are all flying V wrenches. Double opens, we've got a 5/16 and a quarter, a 3/8 and 7/16, a 9/16 and a half, a 3/4 and a 5/8. And then we move into probably the reason I said, yeah, I'd take that. Another box head. I'm a sucker for box heads. Turns nice and tight, maybe a hair dry. Get in really nice shape though. And then we've got a 1/2 inch drive, forged in USA, flying V with the side hole breaker bar. The ball detent is still nice and tight. We've got this 1/2 inch flying V extension. That's probably a 9 inch. We've got another 1/2 inch flying V. That's probably the 6. And then this is a 1/2 inch G. And it's probably a 6. So not a bad pickup. One thing I love about this flea market is the vendors take care of each other. The lady that had this stuff has no tools or anything like that in her booth. She knows that that's not a good seller for her. So she brought them over to me, or she came over to me and said, hey, I got some tools. Do you want to come check them out? I said, absolutely. I checked them out and I came home with them. She made a sale. I got some tools at a good price. I can make some sales off of it and everybody's happy. So I almost forgot, guys. These 3 right here. So this is a 5/8 Par X. Par X was a cheaper brand made by Snap-on. They no longer make it any longer. Here is a 5/16 3/8 drive, 6 point. It's the Square Zero. I can't remember if that's 1970 or 1980. And then we've got a 15/16 Snap-on, 1/2 inch drive, 6 point. And it's the Square 8, which I think is 78. But again, don't quote me on the date codes for Snap-on. Unless I'm looking at the paper, I forget what they are. Let me get this cleaned up, and we'll close this thing out. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. What was your favorite piece? For me, probably that Proto by Plum, or I'm a sucker for a good box head. One of the two. Let me know what yours was. Hope you enjoyed that one. Remember, until next time, I'm Burnout. I love you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it.